another hand. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. Getting a little feedback. I am so glad that you're here. My name is Jean Bell. My pronouns are she and her and they. And I am the associate minister here, and I'm so glad that you're joining us today. If you're viewing on Facebook or YouTube Live, please like and share this broadcast so we can continue to spread the good news of New Thought out into the world. Yes? Yes. All right. I'm going to go through the affirmation, and I'm going to invite you to say it with me after I go through it the first time. Also, if you are new and visiting for the first time, please see a welcome ambassador out in the hallway for a gift, especially for you. All right, the affirmation is, I'll just give them a little time to get it together. All right. I am lifted on the wings of love. I open my heart to the living presence of love within me, around me, and through me. I allow love to guide my thoughts, shape my words, and inspire my actions. Grounded in law, I rise in love, and I let it carry me to new heights of compassion, connection, and peace. That is absolutely beautiful. Now I'm going to ask all of you, and for all of you viewing online, to say this with me, with one voice. I have trees. Okay, all right. Well, I'm going to say it. Just give us a second.
I think he's saying you say it one sentence at a time. You say it.
Okay.
Yeah. You say it, we'll follow you.
All right, gotcha. I am lifted on the wings of love.
I am lifted on the wings of love.
I open my heart to the living presence of love within me. Around me, and through me. I allow love to guide my thoughts. Shape my words. And inspire my actions. Grounded in law, I rise in love. And I let it carry me to new heights of compassion. Connection. And peace. And so it is. All right, we got through it, and thank you.
Great afternoon, everyone. Man, it feels so good to be here. It's been a while for me. I am Jamel Morris. I serve on the creative arts team here at SLCA. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. Please make yourself known. We are so happy that you chose to spend your time with us. Please make yourself known on the online chat and in person so a member of our welcome team can greet you. We have so many great opportunities to connect, grow, serve, and give here at SLCA. For more information about today's announcements and other opportunities, please scan the QR codes found on your monitors. Visioning is vital to the sustainability of SLCA. Join SLCA's practitioner, Efesanechi Nana, today during our 5 o'clock hour as she leads our community in a vision for SLCA. This will take place every second Sunday, and we would love for you to join in. Reverend Jean invites you to join her today during our 5 o'clock hour and discover the basic ideas of the science of mind. This is a perfect opportunity for members and newcomers to discuss the basic principles of the science of mind and spirit philosophy in a small group setting. These principles enhance your personal well-being and allow you to live a more freeing and fulfilled life. Please be there. We are excited again to announce we will be working with Toco Hills Community Alliance to do another mobile food pantry along with UUCA right here on our campus. This pantry will take place on Friday, August the 22nd. Volunteers will set up the mobile food pantry and bag the products. From 10 to 12, we will serve the community with cleanup. We should be done by 12:30. Shifts are from 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Scan the QR code on the screen to register today for your shift. Please join in. SLCA's practitioner, Tony Jenkins. Are you in the building? Tony, there he goes. Are you ready to answer any questions you have about spirituality next Sunday at 5 p.m.? Perhaps you have been curious about certain spiritual practices but have few opportunities to discuss it with like-minded people. Every third Sunday, Tony leads a discussion group exploring topics that may be hard to talk about with your friends and family. This is one of our most popular workshops, so if you have not joined in yet, please check it out. Join us in celebrating the life of longtime SLCA member Judy Hadley in the social hall on August 16th at 11 a.m. A reception will follow the service. Lastly, thank you for joining us today. We look forward to visiting you at the service in the social hall for food and fellowship. Please be sure to speak to at least 2 people today that you have not met or have not spoken to in a while. Remember, you belong. Take care.
With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. As I open and allow, I know right here and now, I create a world where wonders never cease. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me.
I invite you to be in prayer with me. This is what I know. I know that God, the Almighty, is all there is. God is all-knowing. God is all-powerful. God is everywhere. God is the air that we breathe. Take in a deep breath with me, please. Inhale. Exhale. Again. Inhale. Exhale. God is life. We breathe life every day. The breath of life is God. God is love, God is compassion. And we allow the love, the compassion, and God to move in and through our being. Every cell, every organ, every drop of blood in our bodies. soaks in life every day. That's what keeps us moving, keeps us in joy. And God, we thank you for that. We thank you for our planet, God. We thank you that we're doing everything that we can within our being to keep it safe and clean and inhabitable. And for those that might choose to do differently, we send them love and send them a prayer in knowing that their thinking will change. We send love and prayers to our elected officials that have been chosen to lead our country and sometimes may decide to go a little astray. But we know that prayers and the Word of God will reel them back in to show them that compassion and love is the way of true life. We give thanks for all of them. We give thanks for our being, our wholeness, the bodies that we live and breathe in that inhabit our spirit. We know that every cell, every organ, every drop of blood is filled with the vibrational energy of the one and only God. God that keeps us vibrant, joyous, and alive. That God that keeps us in abundance. And we know a lot of this has to do with the thoughts that we choose to think. But right here, right now, we choose to think wholeness and life. We choose to think abundance and joy. And we think it so much, we raise our vibrational energy to radiate in that, to vibrate in that. We feel it. We know we are worthy of it, and we allow it to just sink right in and be with us. That's the way of God, and we give thanks. We thank God for the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta, our Reverend David Alexander, and our Reverend Jean Bell, all the practitioners, Shannon, and everyone that is in a role of leading in this facility, everyone that gives their time and attention to this facility. And I celebrate that. I celebrate everyone who is here today and those that did not make it today. You are celebrated. We give thanks and praise for that. So I release these truths to the law, knowing it is so, it is done, as we say together, and so it is.
With every prayer
With every breath, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. With every breath, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. As I open and allow, I know right here and now, I create a world where wonders never cease. With every breath, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. Through me.
Thank you, Idella, for that beautiful treatment. And thank you for volunteering to sing today while Penelope is on vacation. I really appreciate your voices. And now is the time for our sacred giving, our sacred connection, that divine flow. And there's so many ways to participate in that divine flow. The way I participate is I am a monthly pledger. And this is a representation of my monthly pledge that I give. And there are so many ways to give to this center. You can either text your amount to the number that's on the screen, you can scan the QR code, or you can go to our website at slca.com/donations. We also have receptacles here if you have cash or checks. But however you give, please know that we are grateful for your donations because you, as members and friends of SLCA, are what keeps us thriving and keeps us moving forward. And thank you to all of you who give that are online, the members and friends of SLCA. We see you, we know who you are, and we are grateful for you. So I want you all to join me in our grateful giving affirmation. And let's say it with one voice. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. Grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so
extend your hands with me as we bless these offerings, knowing that Spirit is right here, the overflow, the abundance. Spirit of the living God does bless this and everyone that has given from their hearts, because that's the only place that we give from. And in knowing this, we know that it is enough to sustain this wonderful center, and we are grateful, and so it is.
There are some really big things going on in the world today. And you and I can probably name them. They're all over the media. Could we turn my mic down just a little bit, please? You know, what do you see on the news? War, poverty, cruelty, isolation, all those things, starvation. And news of these events really took a turn for us here last Friday as things became personal. Because on Friday, just down the road from where we are sitting right now, over at the Emory campus and CDC right next to it, you know what happened, I believe, but people were glued to the media because there was a shooter on the campus. It was really frightening. It brought everything to a standstill. It was known there was a shooter, but not where. People were panicked, absolutely. You know, we learned that the shooter and the very first responder on the scene both died. In our city, right down the street from here, oh my God, the bullets flew and people were afraid. Shots were fired. Parents who had children in the CDC daycare, if you didn't know there was one, there is, they couldn't get to them. They didn't know where they were. No information was given, and the area was shut down. Fortunately, the message to shelter in place was received and followed, and it contained the situation. I am grateful for those who dealt with this situation, and that these deaths were the extent of the violence that happened. The emotional toll, the PTSD, we don't know yet. It may be quite some time before we know what happens. Many were asking, oh my God, what is the world coming to? And it is imperative that we know right here, right now, at the very same time, there were acts of bravery, of commitment, of kindness, of love, of generosity, and certainly altruism that took place. Not just around Emory University, where this unfolded, but around the world. Because even as the events unfolded here, there were people actively praying for peace, for unity, for resolution, for the safety and well-being of everyone around the world, for the families affected, and for the people who were in any way affected. But they weren't just about Emory University or the CDC. They were for everyone. And believe it or not, that goes on all the time. So let us be heartened by that. But still, let's acknowledge it that 2 people died and unknown numbers of people were affected. You know, they went through what I must imagine, the fear that comes from not knowing what was happening, where someone was, how many shooters there were, and where they were. And yet, the title of my talk today is The Best Is Yet to Come. And you may be asking, is that sarcastic or ironic? And I will tell you no. It is exactly what we need to hear, right now. Not in just the aftermath of this event, but all the time. Absolutely. And I know that because I knew J. Kennedy Schultz, the founder of this Science of Mind Center that we sit in here today. I'd like you to hear some of his words. Maybe you will be as inspired as I was. So let's hear some of Ken's.
The best is yet to come, and it is, you know. This is not a matter of wishful thinking. It is an entirely reasonable expectation. And it is backed up by everything we know about the history of life on this planet. And we happen to know a great deal about the history of life on this planet. Our knowledge of it is vast and it is conclusive. And it is drawn not only from what we remember in our lifetimes, and not only from what is written about past generations back and back and back, but also we know it from everything that our very busy archaeologists are digging up all over the world, and from what our marvelous scientists are able to perceive from all of the stuff our busy archaeologists are digging up. And the pattern is always the same when we put this information together. And it says that every age has reflected a marked improvement in the quality of human life for more and more people than the ages that preceded it. That's what it says. Now, as we look back over the trail of human evolution, it is obvious that our progression is sure and steady. And it is obvious that today, more people are living better than ever before, and have been living better than ever before, as every age has given way to a new age. So, the great question before us is not, will life get better as time goes by? Because it most certainly will. The question is, will you and I be part of that ongoing improvement? Will you and I be part of that ongoing improvement? Will we as individuals be participating in it?
That was my teacher. And I think about what led up to the events of Friday. And I think about it, and it came to me that it can be the little things in life that maybe seem so casual that lead to great changes in the course of someone's life. And for me, it happened some years ago, back around 1984-85, when someone casually said, "There's a church of psychics downtown. Did you know that?" I said, "No, I did not." And all I could imagine was them sitting around reading each other's thoughts. And I let it go at that because, I was a busy person. And it changed my life. It really did. And later on, I was invited to attend an interesting service. I didn't know it was at the Church of Psychics, which it was not a Church of Psychics. And I walked into the Richard H. Rich Auditorium of the Memorial Arts Center, and I heard Ken Schultz speak in a way that I had never heard a minister speak before. And I can guarantee you, he used words that I had never heard from a pulpit before. And use your imagination, and he probably said it. No joke. So let me tell you a little bit about Ken. He was not soft-spoken. He was not necessarily kind. And he was not always particularly friendly. He wasn't. There are people he cut off at the knees who left the church. But what he was rooted in the foundations of the science of mind philosophy that we study here. And he was the best teacher I ever had, and I would gladly have learned from him the rest of my life. Let's hear a little bit more from Ken.
Now, every age has brought a greater degree of health, a greater degree of opportunity for prosperity, a greater degree of security to more and more and more people. Yet, in every age, there are people who remain sickly, poor, and insecure. In other words, life gets better, but they don't. Life gets better, but they don't. Every age has also brought a greater opportunity for personal freedom, a greater sense of justice and of mercy, a greater disposition for love and forgiveness and compassion. And yet, in every age, there are people who remain enslaved, if to nothing else, at least to their own fears and prejudices. People who do not know justice, aren't able to get it, and certainly aren't able to give it, who do not have much love in their life, and who cannot give or accept forgiveness. People who are stuck. Now, these are people who always tend to think of the past as better than the present and more promising than the future. Always.
Does that strike a note with anybody in here? He had a way of saying things in his own inimitable way that hit the questions in everyone's mind. He did. But let me give you a little history about Ken. He was born in Philadelphia and raised there. His mother died right after he was born. I mean, right after. He was raised in his family there. And eventually, he moved to Manhattan, to New York City. And he had a little apartment. And he decided to wax the floors. And he had the radio on. And he was just waxing away, listening to the radio. And he accidentally waxed himself into a corner. This is true. And he was very unwilling to undo all the work he had done. Ken was a perfectionist. And so he just sat down in his little corner of unwaxed apartment and listened to the radio. And the interesting, but I don't believe anything coincidentally, the speaker was Raymond Charles Barker, who was the senior minister and founder of the New York Church of Religious Science, as it was called back then. And Ken listened to him, and he realized this man was saying profound things that he had not heard before. Ken had been raised Catholic, and this was certainly different. And it prompted him to attend the services. Now, he learned from a master because if you know what I'm saying, or I can explain it, he was a student of Ernest Holmes, Raymond Charles Barker was, who founded religious science, who wrote the text that we read, and many books. And Raymond Charles Barker went on to write many, many profound books himself. And interestingly enough, it was Raymond Charles Barker who was asked by by Ernest Holmes to go found the church in New York. And fast forward, Ken moved to Atlanta. His partner, Wayne Gibson, was a professor at Kennesaw University. And Wayne told me that Ken was just fascinated by the size of the houses here, the apartments, and certainly the appliances. And Wayne said he was never quite sure if Ken moved to Atlanta to be with him or to experience the appliances. Now, there was a little church here, and there were also a group of people who were meeting to discuss the science of mind. And Ken joined it. And the group was growing, and it really grew. He was a great contributor to this group, and finally it grew enough that he told the people in there, we need to apply for church status, and they did. And they were granted, and he said, we got to get a minister. And they said, you be the minister. He said, oh, no. You be the minister, they said. He said, oh, no, because he had a full-time job. And they said it one more time, and he said, well, okay. And on the very day that Raymond came down to give the charter to the church, Ken was granted his practitioner's license, his prayer practitioner license, and his ministerial license. That is unheard of, and it could not even happen today in our organization. It was really a miraculous event. And the church had its service in the auspicious location of the bar of the Admiral Benbow Inn on Spring Street in downtown. Auspicious in that he had to go around and empty all the ashtrays and clean up because it had been a bar till just a few hours before that. But he spoke. And what came out of his mouth was so profound that the church grew, and it grew, and it grew exponentially. And finally, over time, moved to the Richard H. Rich Auditorium in the Memorial Arts Building in downtown Atlanta. It was a great place to meet. Now, the church did meet there for many years, by the way, and I think back about what I learned from Ken. And what can I say I learned from Ken? This is a man who stood on the podium of the Richard H. Rich Auditorium and said, God doesn't care if you have slept with the entire Sixth Fleet. God just doesn't care. God is not involved in the personal day-to-day events of your life. Now, your family may care, he said, but God does not. And so that's how I knew the best was yet to come, because what I learned from him, that we always have the ability to change our lives through our spiritual power. So I decided that what I would do is tell you what I learned from him. And I sat down and started writing things I could think of that I learned from him. This list is not complete because it would be an almost endless list. They're in no particular order, and they are things that I personally heard him say, just as the Sixth Fleet statement. I was there that day. First one, God is not a big man in the sky sitting on a 50-foot gold, uncomfortable throne with a flunky legion of angels who are taking notes on everything you do and what body parts you use and who you use them with. That's a big one. God is, the second statement, an intelligent energy field that operates through unchangeable laws and does so continuously and impersonally. It acts the same way whether you are Mother Teresa or Adolf Hitler. It's impersonal. And third, each of us is a divine manifestation of the Most High. I am, you are, we all are nothing but God manifested in the solid form of our bodies. We are not all of God, but all we are is the material of God. Number 4, I cannot and you cannot ever be separated from God, from Spirit, from whatever name called, And you know, God doesn't care what name you call it because God's an energy field, not responding to the nuances of our daily lives, but our consciousness. And the universe unfailingly responds to thought, to feeling, and emotion. And that means even if you don't really believe something that you actually do believe. I found myself realizing, like a fish in water who says, "What ocean?" that I had things lodged within me that I came to realize I had never realized before. And looking around at the circumstances of my life, of your life, of any life, reveals the content of the consciousness of the person whose life we're looking at. And if it's happening in life, what's happening is not what's desired. We can change what's happening by changing our thoughts, therefore changing our emotions and beliefs. 8, if we pray or what we call treat, and our actions are not in alignment with our prayers, the result is going to be a lot of confusion because all thought, feelings, and emotions are responded to as our actions. So if they're not in alignment, there's confusion. And you're not going to be getting what you want. Now, the very moment that anyone, that you, that I, that anyone changes their thoughts is the very moment that Spirit begins to respond to creating a new reality. That's true. The very moment, because there is only this now moment in Spirit. There's no past, there's no future, it's right now. And whether we believe it or not, that's all we have, except in our thoughts, is this present moment. Spirit is always there with no divine judgment and no burning underworld that threatens to roast anyone without any basting. There's no hell except that which we create. And he also said, nothing happens in the outer world until it is within the world. And then nothing changes in the outer world until we change what is in our inner world. On my 13th statement, to have greater experiences, we have to grow up spiritually. We have to grow up spiritually and take responsibility. He said, we come into this world naked as a jaybird, and those were his words, without anything, and we were taken care of until we could begin to take care of ourselves and grow up enough to contribute to this world. He also said, never try to get anything for nothing. Absolutely not. As we grow up, we get less and less for free. Some people try to continue this behavior of wailing and moaning well into their 40s, he said. It's not successful, and nobody likes them anyway. He said, resolve to pay your way in the world. He also said, something in our consciousness always knows that there is something greater and something better available to us. It doesn't mean you have to leave your relationship or your job. It just means while you can really leave your relationship or job, you can have a greater experience right where you are right that moment. He said, choose wisely and carefully what you put in your consciousness. I don't think a lot of us do that. We listen to things that are negative, that are not life-affirming. Be careful what you let into your mind. He said, be an important contributor to your self-energy, your self-image, which comes from your self-energy. And he said, we are co-owners and co-creators with God. So choose wisely there. Is any of this ringing to you as impactful as it rang to me? Does any of this seem like really something wise that you're not necessarily going to hear at another church? Except it's one like this, perhaps? No? Raise your hand if it's impactful. I want to see. Okay. Some of you raised your hands. You may not believe it, but you didn't want to be left out. He also said, it does not matter if your thoughts and opinions are negative or positive, because the law is going to react to them and create accordingly. It does not sit there and say, now, Susan, you know you didn't mean that, you silly girl. Now, think something different. And I go, oh, yes. No, it just responds. You know, no matter what I say, it is responding. It is responding to the very vibration of the energy I give off through my thoughts, through my feelings, my belief. And there are some things in my subconscious I came to realize I didn't know were there, and I needed to work on. He also said, what we focus on in another calls that into our life. If you have someone you think is the devil incarnate, and I think some of us do, and we focus on what it is about that person that makes them the devil incarnate, then we're going to attract something parallel to that in our lives, even if it doesn't look like it. It'll be gift wrapped just for us. Number 20, he also said, which I've said earlier, we don't know what we hold in our consciousness and the amount of attachment we have to a belief is the degree to which we're going to experience it, no matter what that belief is. If that belief is, I meet people, they always like me and I like them, or that people aren't very nice, they're out to get you. The law and this energy field that works through the law is going to respond to that. The next is a very important statement, I think. Money is not necessary to lead a rich, fulfilling life. Money is not necessary to lead a rich, fulfilling life. When I was a teacher years ago and not making very much at the beginning of my career, I had all kinds of experiences. I had friends in corporate, and they just gave me airplane tickets because they traveled so much, they didn't want to travel anymore on the weekends. People would say, how are you getting to go all these places? And I said, just lucky. I wasn't. It was through the law. And I like this statement. He said, if you think you are morally superior, you will never have a rich life. If you think you are morally superior to anyone, you are not going to have the most rewarding life that you could have. Some of us in here, I know, have been involved in this church for a long time, and we heard him say these things. I'll give you a few references if you like. Afterwards, you can check to make sure I didn't make this up. Our subconscious is witness to our actions as well as our thought. Our subconscious is witness to our thoughts and our actions, our beliefs, and if there is conflict, as I said before, there's going to be some mangled results other than what we want. However, my 23rd statement, look forward and expect demonstration of your desires. Happy desiring leads to happy lives. You want to sit around and believe it can never happen for me, or, oh, whatever you want to believe, okay. But if you have happy desiring and you anticipate, that is powerful prayer, and you will get powerful results. I like the next one a whole lot. You can't see yourself as wealthy, as truly wealthy, if you act cheap. You cannot see and experience yourself as really wealthy if you act cheap. Let's remember that next time you want to, not give as much, or don't spend something. You're going to go see if you can get it for a better price, or if you're on an auction site and you're trying to whittle them down to a lower price. You have plenty of money. Use it. Use it wisely. He said, life does not expect us to do what we cannot. Life does expect us to do what we can. And that is so important. Life does not expect us what we cannot do, but it does expect us to do what we can. And if you don't, okay. Because my favorite biblical phrase is yea and verily. And if you don't do what you can to improve the quality of your life, yea and verily, you're going to get the results. Absolutely. We get in trouble for doing what we actually can do. 26, pay whatever you can for what is of value in your life. If it means something to you, pay for it as best as you can. It's a statement of faith. It's a statement of how you value something, and it is responded to. He also said, generously tip service providers. Stiff someone and you will be in some way stiffed. You got it? Well, I didn't get my coffee very fast. I'm cutting down that. Okay, yea and verily. Just remember that. The law responds. He said, support your church or wherever you get your spiritual nourishment and enjoy doing so. Support the site of your spiritual nourishment and do it and enjoy giving it. No one can make you do it. Do it of my own volition. It also is a powerful prayer, and what we give comes back to us. Know that you are not some poor, helpless soul, some victim. You are not, I am not, no one is actually a victim. On some level, you and I have participated in creating the circumstances of our lives. Now, I want to say one thing, because I have worked with a lot of abused people in my life and abused children. This does not apply to children who are under the volition of their parents or guardians. Until they grow of age, that they begin making their own decisions, and as they grow more in that, they grow more responsible for the content and the results. A consciousness, he said, that criticizes and complains about what is desired, pushing away the very thing that is desired. So if you complain about money, or as my father would said, bitch and moan, you're pushing away what you desire. Think of that. Love, relationships, work, whatever. Be open and receptive to better ideas. They're always available. We sometimes don't even recognize them when they come, just like did you know there's a psychic church downtown? I didn't think about it. And then I got invited to it. And then I came, and then I stayed for years, and I'm still here. Absolutely. If y'all want to meet Lisa Rankin, she's the one who said that to me. I can put you in touch with her. Now, when we are open to better ideas, we get greater ideas, and we get the means to put those ideas into action. Plant great ideas in your consciousness, he said, even if you have no idea how to create them. He said the power in this universe is the same power that is within you. You came from the invisible to the visible, and that power is within you. Don't ever believe that you're powerless. I've caught myself believing that sometimes when I didn't even realize I was believing it. He said we can choose what we want if we are willing to provide the means to get it. There is no use screaming and wailing to try and get what we want. Some people continue this into their 40s. And again, as he said, nobody likes him anyway. As I told you, he wasn't real sweet all the time. He said it's not attractive to behave that way. He said people are not truly wealthy if they are without freedom. If they're always worried about losing their money or how they're going to spend it, even if you have a lot, you're not going to really enjoy it. You know, wealth is the freedom to do what you want, when you want, with whom you want, and where you want to do it. He said, affirm, I am established in the consciousness of God, and the consciousness of God is established in me. You ever thought of that? I am established in the consciousness of God, and it is established in me. Grow up to your destiny, he said. Most people don't want to. They just want to have their own way. And growth is the ability to provide more for ourselves as well as the responsibility to do so. So the giving also comes with the responsibility. We want to have dominion over our lives, and we want to be able to do so, and that is wealth. If you want a better experience, he said, get a better God. Get a bigger God. In other words, have a bigger idea about what spirit truly is and who you are in spirit. And the last statement that I'm going to share with you is a very important one. He said, you are not on the Ways and Means Committee. Put your ideas in consciousness and have the good sense to let spirit act on the law to take care of the details. We don't need to tell God how to do things. That energy field has everything within it. So stop trying to make something happen. Have faith and expect your demonstration. So in sharing this, know that when you understand, you know, and you use the laws and principles of science of mind, the best is yet to come, no matter how old you are, what your experiences have been in the past. We are bigger than any of our biggest mistakes. We have the power to direct our consciousness and co-create with the divine. And truly, the quality of life on this earth, no matter what you may see momentarily, is better than has ever been. We have more food, better health, more peace, actually, and better health care, more opportunities. And believe it or not, we are actually less violent. Go study history. It is not pretty. As I said in the beginning today, little things can lead to much greater. This is true even if mental health or trauma has brought about situations that we would never desire to have happened. If mental health issues or PTSD is driving the car, the road is going to be very bumpy and may lead to a very unhappy end. However, we are raising our consciousness through churches like this all over the world, and we're creating better experiences. You know, it's also true that one casual comment about a psychic church led me to be here today and sharing these kinisms, and I bet you have your own examples of things you may have heard about him or that he said or that someone said that really inspired you. Ernest Holmes taught Raymond Charles Barker, who taught Ken. I don't know how many ministers actually came from Ernest Holmes or Raymond Charles Barker, but I will tell you there are a lot of people out there who are practitioners and ministers bringing this message today with their words, with their actions, and with their beliefs. And I invite you to join that number. Ken's legacy is mighty. Is far greater than what he ever considered when he waxed himself into that corner years ago. So what can you and I do? What small thing can you enlarge into a wonderful experience to help yourself grow, to help your family, your community, your church, and the world grow? Don't discount the little things. They matter. You know, we can create a much better future. We can make a wonderful difference in this world. Let's find out by living these principles. There are plenty of people who are here to teach you. If you are a practitioner or a minister here today, would you raise your hand? We have trained for years. Look around. Ask us questions. Ask us what we can do to help you. We're here for it. You know, I know my life is so much greater from learning these principles. Because as Ken said as he closed every week, it's wonderful and so are you, and thus ends the lesson. Thank you for being here today. And to Ken, wherever you are, my eternal, eternal gratitude. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. And as Ken said, I'm still speaking to anybody who's still speaking to me with this is over. And right now, I want to invite the practitioners to come on the stage behind me here, if you would join me. Yes, sir. Question? Okay.
Is that okay? I was just hoping maybe just for 5 or 10 seconds. If you could talk a little bit, you mentioned twice, maybe more than twice, about getting what you pay for. And I just was hoping maybe you could give an example, or if you could talk a little bit about the differences between sacrifice and discipline. I don't want to, interrupt the order of things, but also...
I'll just say a word about that. When I think of sacrifice, I think of it in two ways. Some people think of sacrifice as negative, having to give up what they want. And they resent it. That's not paying for what you want. Paying for what you want involves not only perhaps money, but paying in consciousness. Be willing to make the changes to create what you want. And also, don't be cheap in trying to get something for nothing. We don't have to take away from others to have our own good. It's like if you breathe a whole lot in this auditorium, are you taking away the air from anyone else? No, you are not. So pay as much as you can for what you want, and do it gladly. Say thank you. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. When you resent it, it's going to come back because the law acts unfailing. Does that help?
Yes, thank you. That's very helpful.
You're welcome. So let me ask right now if you would just close your eyes for a moment and just breathe. Just feel the air coming into your body, the muscles that move, the pause, and then the exhale. Just feel how alive you are. without trying to make anything happen. Your body knows how to breathe. It knows what to do with the breath, what to do with the food. It knows how to grow your hair, see through your eyes. That same intelligence is the intelligence of the universe, and it is ours now. We didn't create that intelligence. It has always been. It surrounds us now. We are in an ocean of that intelligence. It is vibrating through this room, through the chairs, through the structure. It is everywhere vibrating, always responding. Our knowledge of this and how to direct this power, knowing that we don't create anything by ourselves, we co-create with the divine. Let it sink into you right here, right now. Know that the divine does not make junk, and know who you are. You are never junk. You are never despised. You are never less than, even though you may think so and others may tell you that. You are always a child and creation of the Most High. Let that just sink in. Let your life be filled with gratitude, and let us, each of us today, take that in and know something greater about ourselves, about others. Yes, there are things going on in the world. We don't deny them, but we know that there is a better way, and our being a peaceful person brings peace to our surroundings. Our loving nature, our generous nature creates more. What we focus on grows in our lives. Let us see others as divine manifestations also. Let us know in any situation, spirit, God, intelligence, whatever name called, is always there. Feel your aliveness as you breathe right now. You are radiant energy right here where you are. Let us celebrate it. Let us appreciate it. Let us appreciate every hand that brought this service here today and the entire history of shoulders upon who we stand. It goes back centuries. Just breathe in and know that you are part of God. And so it is. Thank you for being here today. I'm here to talk to you if you'd like to, or the other ministers and practitioners. And would you join us as we stand and we sing our closing song?
We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see our people, our beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see our people, our beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see our people, our beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We see a world that works for everyone. We see a world that works for everyone. Everyone, everyone.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Right. Please join us. Knowing that you belong, please join us downstairs to fellowship and just talk and love you.
Yes.